Imagine a world before empires, before kingdoms, before written words. A land nestled between two mighty rivers, where the very idea of civilization was born. Tonight, let us drift through time to the ancient land of Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization, where humanity took its very first steps toward the world we know today. Mesopotamia, Greek for the land between the rivers, refers to the vast region between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, in what is now modern-day Iraq, southeastern Turkey, parts of Syria, and western Iran. Thousands of years ago, this fertile crescent attracted nomadic peoples, drawn by the life-giving waters and rich soil. Here, around 10,000 BCE, early humans shifted from hunting and gathering to farming. The Neolithic Revolution was quietly unfolding. These early settlers began to cultivate wheat and barley. They domesticated animals, goats, sheep, and cattle. They built permanent homes of mud brick and clay. And so began the first villages, then towns, and eventually cities. One of the earliest known settlements was Eridu, believed by many to be the first city in history. In Sumerian mythology, it was where kingship first descended from heaven. But Mesopotamia wasn't just a land of myth. It was a land of extraordinary achievements. By 3000 BCE, great cities rose from the plains: Uruk, Ur, Lagash, and Nippur, each a walled city-state, ruled by powerful kings and priests. Uruk, in particular, became the beating heart of Sumerian civilization. Its towering ziggurat, dedicated to the sky god Anu, could be seen for miles. The city bustled with merchants, farmers, artisans, and scribes. And in Uruk, something remarkable happened. Around 3200 BCE, to record trade and taxes, the Sumerians began to press pictographs into soft clay tablets using a stylus made of reed. This was cuneiform, the first known writing system. From simple accounting symbols, writing evolved into complex storytelling, legal codes, hymns, and epics. It was in Mesopotamia that humanity learned how to preserve memory. Words now outlived their speakers. It was here that history began. As the waters of the Tigris and Euphrates flooded the plains and then receded, they left behind rich, fertile soil that beckoned early humans to settle and farm. Around 4000 BCE, these early settlers founded what would become the world's first true cities, places like Uruk, Eridu, and Ur in the region known as Sumer. Uruk, in particular, was astonishing. It's believed that over 40,000 people lived there at its height, in a time when most humans still lived in small tribes or villages. With these cities came some of humanity's greatest innovations: irrigation systems, carefully planned to control the waters; ziggurats, towering temple structures that connected the heavens to the earth; cuneiform writing, etched into clay tablets, marking the beginning of recorded history. And so, the story of Mesopotamia became the story of civilization itself. These Sumerians worshipped a pantheon of gods, each city with its own patron deity. They believed humans were created by the gods to serve them. Life was not about happiness or freedom. It was about order, duty, and ritual. Yet in this strict system, humanity took its first steps toward art, law, and organized society. By 2334 BCE, a new power emerged from the north: Sargon of Akkad. Sargon was not just a king. He was the world's first empire builder. He united the Sumerian city-states under one rule, forming the Akkadian Empire. His reign marked a turning point. For the first time, power was centralized, and a king ruled over vast lands and many people. Under Sargon and his descendants, the Akkadian language spread. Trade expanded as far as India and Egypt. New military tactics and governance systems were introduced. But empires rise, and empires fall. The Akkadian Empire crumbled after a series of droughts, invasions, and internal conflict, a pattern that would repeat throughout Mesopotamian history. Centuries later, in the city of Babylon, a king would rise who forever changed how rulers governed. His name was Hammurabi, and he ruled from 1792 to 1750 BCE. His greatest legacy? The Code of Hammurabi, a set of nearly 300 laws carved into stone for all to see. It covered everything from trade and marriage to theft and punishment. The famous phrase, "an eye for an eye," comes from this code. It was harsh by today's standards, but revolutionary at the time. For the first time, law was written and standardized, not left to the whims of rulers. Far to the north, a fierce and disciplined people rose to power, the Assyrians. Their empire would become known for its ruthless military campaigns, advanced siege technologies, and a reputation that struck fear across the ancient world. By 900 BCE, they had built an empire stretching from Egypt to Persia. Their capital, Nineveh, became a center of learning, with vast libraries and administrative buildings. Yet even they could not escape the curse of time. By 612 BCE, the Assyrian Empire collapsed under the weight of rebellion and invasion. The fall of the Assyrians gave rise to a renewed Neo-Babylonian Empire, led by its greatest king, Nebuchadnezzar II. He rebuilt Babylon into a jewel of the ancient world. With massive walls, lush gardens, perhaps the Hanging Gardens, one of the Seven Wonders, and temples that reached the sky. It was under Nebuchadnezzar that the city flourished culturally and politically. But it was also during this time that the Babylonian captivity of the Jews occurred, a painful moment in biblical history that still echoes today. By 539 BCE, a new force arrived: the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. Cyrus conquered Babylon with little bloodshed, ending Mesopotamian political independence, but preserving much of its culture. The Persians were wise rulers, allowing local traditions to flourish. But with their arrival, the torch of power passed away from the ancient cities of Sumer and Babylon, and into a new chapter of human history. By 539 BCE, a new force arrived: the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. Cyrus conquered Babylon with little bloodshed, ending Mesopotamian political independence but preserving much of its culture. The Persians were wise rulers, allowing local traditions to flourish. But with their arrival, the torch of power passed away from the ancient cities of Sumer and Babylon, and into a new chapter. Though the cities crumbled and the empires fell, Mesopotamia's legacy never died. We still feel it today in our writing systems, our legal codes, our city planning. Even the way we measure time. They divided the day into 24 hours, the hour into 60 minutes. They dreamed of stars, invented mathematics, and wrote epics like the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest story known to man. To sleep tonight is to rest in the echoes of their dreams. As you drift off, remember, the cradle of civilization still whispers beneath the sandsur of human history.